Part Circus.
All right, we're back. We're live. It's Sunday night, and we are going. It's actually about 25 minutes in, but we're going to restart the A&E biography episode about Adam Copeland, who is known as Edge in WWE and is now a WWE Hall of Famer. Coincidentally, and I don't wonder if this has something to do with it, tomorrow night, Edge, well, obviously Edge has been on TV for the last few months, but tomorrow night, for the first time in probably a year and a half, Edge is going to step into the ring and compete, and he's going to be in tomorrow night's main event on Monday Night Raw as Edge goes one-on-one with Damian Priest, and that's Raw's main event tomorrow night.
Or maybe they might start it during the first part of Raw.
Anyway, my apologies for coming in about 20 minutes late. As for why, I honestly don't know, but at any rate, we are going to rewind and start again the A&E biography episode of Adam Copeland, WWE Hall of Famer Edge. Watch along with us and enjoy. And as always, if you have comments, questions, whatever, regardless of what they're about, like I always say, I'm an open book, so I have no shame, I have nothing to hide, so ask me anything you want. Or if you just want to chat, whatever, go right ahead. At any rate, let's go to A&E.
Part actor, part writer,
So you don't want to
part
tell me.
athlete.
Huh? So you don't want
Wrestling's
to
all
tell me
that thrown into one
Tell you about
pot,
what?
mixed up, and
why we're doing
you
this
burp out a wrestler.
I
Colorful
forgot.
outfits, high flying,
Oh, you said you were busy.
explosions. It's theater in the round. It's live. You have no net. You got a live microphone and a camera.
You have no idea the pain that I've gone through.
Those are your tools to tell your story.
This is hell on earth. God forbid can a human being even move? I don't know. It's unbelievable.
That to me is just so fascinating. It's the best gig in the world.
When he was a kid, he wanted to be a wrestler. He lived his whole life wanting to be a wrestler.
Dude was viral from the ladder.
The way that it happened and all the adversity that he's had to go through.
Carnage.
There was still the knock on Edge that he wasn't tough.
Oh, I forgot.
He was never the biggest, never the strongest, never
What
the
a-
fastest. He forced himself, he pushed himself, he
I'm not
willed
gonna
himself.
stop it,
He was
but
someone that was willing to risk it all to entertain the people who paid money to see him wrestle.
Whatever he wants to get, he's going to manifest it.
When it comes to do or die situations, I cry.
But I was shocked that he had to end his career before his time. There's going to be uneasiness, but it's never going to get away.
And can't stop the world.
The impossible. He did the impossible.
The ultimate opportunist. The one and only superstar.
Growing up in Orangeville as a shy kid, which seems counterintuitive to what I ended up doing for a living, but I was a pretty quiet kid and pretty well behaved. It was just me and my mom, and she worked multiple jobs to make sure that I had enough food because I ate a lot.
She was a single parent. She was raised in Adam and she had
Hi.
several jobs
Hi.
at once.
Gentlemen.
And she
I
would do
missed you
whatever it
now.
took to raise Adam the right way, I guess. Orangeville's a pretty, it's not the funnest town, but it's a safe place. It's probably what we call a good place to raise a family. Well, not a whole lot going on usually. Here's another place where Adam and Judy lived. Adam and Judy, they moved around probably, about half a dozen times at least over the years. They lived once downtown, and they lived in the place I just showed you. There are a couple more places all around there.
There was this back alley to the back of our apartment, and it was these rickety old stairs. I would try and sneak down this back alley so no one would see where I lived. Because I thought, if there's anybody driving by, they'll go, what's Adam doing there? Does he live up there? You go through those times and those periods where you're self-conscious, you're shy, and some of that can be because of finances, or you're the poor kid, or you're the kid that's got to wear the same shoes for a while. I'm sure my mom probably sensed that, which probably was not an easy thing for her, but she did everything that she possibly could.
Judy worked 2 jobs sometimes, making ends meet. She's an amazing mother. She did a wonderful, wonderful job just to keep a roof over Adam's head.
We kind of lived paycheck to paycheck, and I remember there was this thing called the baby bonus. I think it was like $35 a month. I'd go down the stairs and I always look in that mailbox to see if that envelope was there, because I knew that $35 was really going to help. That was the difference between that final week being pretty lean or we're going to have a casserole. Definitely some stress, but you're a kid, right? So it kind of bounces off of you. And maybe on deeper layers, deeper levels, it is helping to form the person you're going to become, but you don't realize that at the time.
She was everything to Adam, and vice versa. Adam was her life, period.
It kind of felt like her and I against the world. She just put her nose to the grindstone, and what she taught me was work ethic. Nothing will come easy. If it's something that you want, if it's something that you truly want to attain, there's going to be work involved, and the reward will be worth it. I can look back now, and I think her reward was my success.
He got a lot of love, and that, when you're a little kid and you don't have much, that means everything.
He definitely had a lot of male presence in his life to kind of make up for the fact that his father wasn't around, but I'm sure he had doubts and thoughts and, ran the gamut of emotions as to why his father wasn't in his life.
My grandparents were there, all my uncles were there, my aunts were there. There was always someone, and they all pitched in, and they all, lent their hands to making sure that, if my mom had to work, there was going to be somebody there.
Him and Gary were really close.
He was the baby of the family. He was the closest to me in age. And because of that, he was my uncle, but it was more of a big brother feel, because we could relate to a lot of the same things.
Oh, thank you,
He
Megan.
was
I
into
got it.
hockey, big time. If she was even watching.
While I may have annoyed my older uncles, I didn't annoy Gary because we were
I'm
into
gonna go get something
things.
to try and counteract that.
You want me to
We'd
stop?
draw
Keep
together,
going.
we'd sit there and compare like our drawings of goalies and things like that.
All right.
When he wasn't playing hockey with his friends, he was always with Adam. Always. And then all of a sudden that was taken away from him. I was out west in Western Canada working. And all I got was a phone call saying, you better get home, and you better get home now. Gary's been in an accident.
My Uncle Gary and a bunch of friends were driving home from a lacrosse game and lost control around a wet corner. And he was in the backseat and didn't make it. It turned the entire family upside down. He was the baby. This is my best buddy. At that age, old people passed away. It didn't dawn on me that you could be 17.
Gary was kind of like the anchor. When that anchor was taken away, you kind of just drift, right? You can never replace that, ever. Say time heals all, but it doesn't. You just learn to live with the scars, Just a big, big boy.
I know my grandparents never recovered. And I truly don't think any of the brothers and sisters did either. And for me, I was young enough that I started looking, and I found wrestling. It was all of those things that I gravitated to as a kid, but now it was tangible. Now, wait, these guys and girls are going to be down at Maple Leaf Gardens, or they may come to the Orangeville Arena. It became the friend that my uncle was, and now that friend wasn't there.
Make the ball effective.
wrestling became that thing for me.
Jam-packed crowd here in Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens for this fantastic event. Introducing first, the #1 Frenchman, Rene Goulet.
My Uncle Randy, my mom, my Aunt Sandy, and I, we all went down to Maple Leaf Gardens. This was my first trip to Maple Leaf Gardens. I just remember the ring and this single light above it and this giant wooden ramp that came up from out of the dressing rooms. Maple Leaf Gardens was the only one that had this ramp. I just remember thinking, these people are humongous, bigger than life, brighter than life. It was mind-melting.
Oh! Cannonball off the top turnbuckle down for the cover. He got it.
I don't know what part of my brain fired that said, this is what you're going to do. And I don't know why, but it did.
There's an Orangeville District Secondary School. There's a lobby in there. And that's where Adam and Jay used to practice their wrestling. There's a set of stairs that comes down. They used to pretend they were jumping off.
Do, and I don't know why, but it did.
There's an Orangeville District Secondary School. There's a lobby in there. And that's where Adam and Jay used to practice their wrestling. There's a set of stairs that comes down. They used to pretend they were jumping off the top rope.
I was 11 years old when I moved to Orangeville. I was a really shy kid. When my mom pulled up to the school, I refused to get out of the car.
He was nervous, and the teacher sent me out as one of the kids to try and ease him into this thing. You know, talk him into the school to tell him it's going to be okay. We started talking about wrestling. And he was as avid about it as I was.
We kind of had our own like federations going on, so we'd always kind of update each other. Who was a champion with our action figures and all those sorts of things. My family took him in, and he was with us a lot, you know, for dinners. He went on family trips with us. Him kind of becoming a part of my family, we just started talking about it. And it wasn't like, if we do this, if we become wrestlers, it was like, when we do this, when we become a tag team, when we become tag team champions. We kind of manifested it at an early age that this is something we were going to do.
And that was it. Like, all bets were off at that point. I took this very seriously, and this was it. There was no plan B. Failure was not an option.
Did y'all know there's more to love than Papa?
Well, of course, John has, left me here again. Sorry, because I know I'm not the one you tune in to see. It's John, or maybe I am the one you tune in to see at this point. I don't know. But I honestly don't know why I do this with him, because I should come to expect this by now.
He was a
WE Rivals, new episode next, only on A&E. We're 65,000 strong here in Toronto now.
So WrestleMania 6 was coming to the Skydome. It was everywhere. I thought there's no way that I'm going to end up going. In the meantime, my mom and my grandparents were doing what they could to get me down there. We didn't have a credit card. So my mom used my grandparents' credit card and then paid them back in order to get me down there. And then we took the bus down, and it was a voyage.
When you step in the Skydome, when you feel the energy that's going to run wild throughout the arena, those are my people. That's my energy, brother.
It was going to be Hulk Hogan against the Ultimate Warrior. Now, as a fan, in that time, you had a clear side. You were Hogan or you were Warrior. I was Hogan. I'll never forget, like, it's still burned into my memory.
Hulkster is almost motionless.
Like how far we were and the angle we were at and how cool it all was to me. Sure enough, there I am in my Hulk Girls tank top, already about a head taller than everybody else in the audience. My mom down on my shoulder, the mullet, stupid smile on my face, like I just won the Super Bowl.
Toronto was named the hottest market in the world for wrestling. Just growing up in that environment had a big say in Adam's whole development as a wrestler.
In Toronto, wrestling becomes so popular. Sports editors at those favors. They say, you know what? When we run anything about wrestling, our paid number for that day goes up. What about a weekly wrestling column?
One weekend, in the column at the very tail end of it, want to be a wrestler? Right in, there's going to be an essay contest. The winner of this essay contest will receive free wrestling training from Sweet Daddy Siki and Ron Hutchison. Okay, I know these names. I know these guys. This is legit. I'm writing it. I wrote it longhand, sent it. That was the only copy. I've never seen it to this day.
And this is the letter. This is the original letter. Let's open it up here.
Part of me is dreading what I might have written, but whatever I wrote worked because we're sitting here now, and a lot of it starts with that essay.
Dear Mr. Sullivan, I'm writing in response to Norm DaCosta's column. I feel I could possibly be a good choice. I've been a wrestling fanatic since I was about 8 years old. I stand 6'4", 224 pounds, and I'm 18 years old. Sincerely, Adam Copeland.
It changed everything for me. But I also knew because they were taking this chance on me that I wanted to do right by that chance. If I didn't see it to as far as I could see it and work as hard as I could toward it, the chance they gave me, I'm on it. And I'm not going to do that.
He didn't have a car at the time, so I actually borrowed my mom's car and drove him to his first wrestling class. And I would do that quite often on weekends until he got a car.
I loved every inch of that place. Finally, after, about 6 or 7 months of falling on the floor, I was given the nod to get in the ring. And finally getting in there and being in there and landing in there for the first time was a real eye-opener. I don't know why I thought that might be easy.
What?
And I was really, really luckily.
All right, so here's what you missed.
Okay.
He's talking about how popular wrestling was in Toronto. So his uncles got him tickets to every show.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, WrestleMania 6 was in the Skydome in 1990. His mom used his grandparents' credit card to get in there, and he took the bus with a friend. He was cheering for Hogan in the Hogan Warrior thing, but obviously Hulk didn't win. Then he saw an ad in the paper there was a weekly wrestling column in the local paper. They ran an ad for a wrestling school. So Adam wrote to the people that ran this wrestling school, and they accepted his application, and he basically wrote an essay, not a letter, but they accepted him, and that's where we're at now. I don't know how long I want to keep doing this if you're going to keep walking out on me every time.
Oh, sorry, dude. I had a snack.
Well, I know, but this is every time, dude. Anyway.
Oh, sorry. You don't want to have a snack.
I don't know why. I don't have the answer as to why.
I had a cookie.
What cookie?
Chips Ahoy.
All right. What we're about to watch here.
But now you're going to wait for me. But I won't be gone as long because I'm going to try to bring it in here. Wait a minute.
Towel.
Shit. Thank you. I don't want that happening again.
Okay, let's run it Friday.
I'm practically watching a biography on Edge right now. I'm actually available tomorrow, Friday. Deal. Friday will be John. Hey, that's also my name too. I think we should be brothers since our name is John. Megan, he already told me anyways. Yes, I'm okay.
Well, I can't grab anything right now because there's no one out there to help me, so. So maybe at a commercial I will.
All right.
Damn it.
Megan saying hi to you too, Michael.
Hi, we'll talk later. Mwah. Thank you for accepting.
My
We'll
very
talk a little bit
first
later or
experience wrestling in front of an audience. Look at that young fella over there in the corner in the Oakland Raiders Zubaz. Lightning bolts all over the place. Fantabulous
Foley
moment.
says Zubaz.
Full display. Monarch Park, Toronto.
No, that was
July
that
1st,
wasn't
Canada
it.
Day. Ron Hutchison, Sweet Daddy CKR trainers ran a wrestling show for free in the park to get us some reps in front of an audience. I just remember getting chopped a lot, which is kind of a rite of passage for the newbie. So I'm like, I don't care if I'm a rookie, I'm gonna chop it back. Yeah, that's right, Frank, eat that. Now I'm just chopping everybody. I just had a bit of an attitude, I guess. I just remember thinking, yep, this is exactly where I need to be. This is the right spot. So this went a long way to making me realize that, okay, I'm on the right track, at least. There was no safety net. There was no failsafe. It was this and nothing else. You gotta bet on yourself and you gotta believe you can do it.
Sorry if I missed when Edge was WrestleMania 6.
Hold on a minute.
Cheeseburger or
If you find a lower price, we'll match it. With value like that, it's never been easier to sport your style.
Your taste just got hypnotized. Taste houses. Mountain Dew, oldest flavors on earth. Tide Pods Ultra Oxy, one-ups the clean.
You're welcome, Jennifer. You're welcome. You're welcome, Jennifer. You're welcome. Hey, Jennifer. Guess what?
be a guest. With USAAC pilot. Get a quote today. I've been training for about a year and a half. The Dee Petty Show in Canada. It was a talk show. It was really big in Canada. Brett was going to be a guest.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Canada's own Brett the Hitman Hart.
So I said, I got to get there. I gotta get in that audience. I'm gonna ask them a question.
We got two guys here look to me like they might be wrestlers in training here, huh? By the sheer size of you two. You want to be a wrestler?
We're just wondering like how we should go about it, and we work out at CT's gym, so if everyone wants to stop by, there's a little plug that I have.
Well, when you want to get in, do you have to go and audition for them and meet them? I mean, how did you get in?
You have to have some experience, and then which is very hard to get nowadays. And they can get you on television and give you sort of a tryout, but that's about it.
In those days, it was hard to get someone to help open a door for you. And here I was world champion at the time. And I was like, how can I open a door for a guy at his age, where he is, and at his level?
After the show, I'm coming out of the bathroom, and Brett sees me and comes walking down the hall. And he said, listen, man, I wish I had more to tell you. I wish I had better advice. Just stick with it. Bret Hart just told me to stick with it. Damn right I'm sticking with it.
I had already been going to Humber College for a year, and Adam decided to do a radio broadcasting course to kind of have something to fall back on if, wrestling doesn't pan out.
I wanted to take something in college while I was just getting sporadic bookings. I decided maybe radio broadcasting would help to have to kind of perform verbally.
Tune in to CBC this Sunday at 8. I'm Adam Jericho with your Char News Update.
I had a great couple of years, and I was still wrestling. And it was, wasn't making any money, but it was making enough to get by.
Just had a discussion. He's like, hey, man, you keep saying you're going to do this. Are you going to do it or what? And I was like, yeah, I am. And so I was broke, thought broke, but I had a student loan from college.
So he took part of his student loan and put it toward training. So now we're training at the same school. And then slowly but surely starting to break into these different pockets of the independent scene. I had done a tiny show in Ajax, Ontario. And no matter what, we always tried to put on the best match we possibly could, which meant I'm going to be out there for half an hour because I'm going to use every second of this time to either get somebody to notice or just improve. There's probably 100 people there. Do a tag team match.
They seem to be playing a good mind game.
This guy, Carl DeMarco, who at that point is Bret Hart's manager, says, hey, you guys got something. Give me a tape.
I wanted to build him similar to what we did with Bret. And I talked to Adam and I said, I see you going down that same footsteps.
Bret Hart gets the victory.
Listen, Adam, you got to trust me. You're not there yet, but you're close. I want you to do some more independent shows to hone your craft. We're going to keep in touch.
So they came to Winnipeg, and from there we went to the Norton Tour.
International Wrestling Alliance. I never heard
There's
of
a lot
that.
of tours where, man, you drive across these lakes and you wouldn't be on West Coast.
Some of the guys on those type of trips, they break out. They start crying because they figure they're going to die. They've never been in crossing lakes. They're driving, right? And sometimes the water breaks, and they figure that they're dead.
The video camera. So I had to do an on-water tour. The on-water tour. The Heller on-water tour. See, we're on a lake somewhere.
That was why they started being called death tours. You find yourself in these conditions. Like, we got up to Oxford House and they said it's minus 72 out. You got to run inside because you don't want to be exposed for this long or it's frostbite. And I just remember getting out of that van and my nostrils freezing together. We would get wherever we could to try and wrestle new people. So Jay and I took this trip, and I still blame him for this. It's all his fault. He had got in contact with this promoter from Tennessee, and this promoter promised us 30 shows in 30 days. So we get to Tennessee, and we realize there's no shows. And we've used all of our money to get this far.
We just try to walk on to shows, and we ended up walking on to all these different shows. We did a couple shows in a barn in front of like 8 people, fans sitting on hay bales.
That was one of the instances where I had to call home and say, can you wire me enough money for a bus ticket home? I knew she didn't have it because at this point we're living in a one-room apartment. You know, my mattress is on the floor in this corner, her mattress is over there. I don't know if she asked my grandparents or just scraped it together, but it got there. And that's what got me home. Yeah, you're not making any money, and yeah, maybe $75 a show, hopefully. But you're still out there doing it. My mom never questioned that. She never said to me, what do you think? Is it time to call it a day? Maybe move on to something else? She never said it once, and I never said it. You know, I'd been working in the car suit factory, and I'd go, okay, I'm doing this so that I can afford tights, so I can afford those boots, so I can afford the first payment of car insurance. Because I thought if I keep putting into this thing, eventually it'll pay off.
He had tunnel vision. We were going to make it regardless. And he had the same mindset, and I had the same mindset. We pushed each other.
Carl calls me, said you should get out to Bret Hart, who is the WWE champion at that point.
Every now and then, I finally would step in the ring and I'd go, okay, I'm going to wrestle Adam. And I would try to teach him everything I could in as short a way and quick a way as possible, and basically give him the experience of working with the best wrestler in the world right now.
So I just get in and do my thing. At the end of that, Bret goes, we got to get you going. You know, I think you're ready. You've gone as far as you can go to this point.
Come off the top. Get the wheels.
It's not very often that I give a big stand-up to a guy like Adam, but it was easy for me to do.
So that's huge. I don't know what else to say to that, but like my stomach's doing every flop and flip you can imagine. But I got a tour in Manitoba for Tony Condello, and it's not a northern death tour this time because it's during the summer. So I go to Winnipeg. We're landing pontoon planes on the lakes to get to the shows, and we're in Cat Lake. I remember Tony coming to find me, and there's one phone on the res, and he said, listen, we got to go to the cop shop, and it's double wide. So I walk in there, pick up the phone. It's Carl DeMarco. Hey, Carl, what's going on? And he goes, you got a contract, and it's waiting for you. And it's waiting for you down in Stamford, Connecticut. Whew. It almost feels like the second half of my life started there. The first half was to get to that phone call. And then that phone call happened and it all changed. I can look back at it now and realize how pivotal it was. And I knew it was at the time, but looking in that rear view, you realize, wow, that single phone call changed the entire path. It was the path I wanted. It was the path I expected. But that phone call is what actually did it. WWE had.
You want to go home? 60 Days In, new episode, Thursday at 9, only on A&E.
You think you know me, but you will never know me. You are lost and scared.
I don't think WWE had an idea what to do with Adam Copeland. The only trait that Edge and Adam shared was confusion. Adam had no idea what Edge was, and therefore Edge was very confused. So I didn't understand that there was going to be departments. You'd have people whose job it was to try and come up with this stuff. That's great, but I want to do that myself. You know, it's my kid's light board. It's Lyrics Crayola light board. And so I'll just put something on there and go, okay, there's an idea. That's a good size. And then I'll just go, okay, well, I can trace it now that I have the original drawing. So that's kind of my process is I get a pencil and some Sharpies and I start doodling. I don't know why it's always been this process. I really enjoy it. I think that's also part of the reason because of that, because it does take me back to when I was a kid and then a teenager and then an adult. Now being a 40-something middle-aged man, still doing it.
What could have happened to this man?
Dude, for a Hall of Famer for Edge, I think he did a pretty cool job. Pretty cool job with that drawing.
Because they don't like their character, and that doesn't sit well sometimes with the higher-ups.
I got some of these creative drawings and I looked like a BG taking rave drugs. Oh, what is that? Nothing was really fleshed out. Nothing was told to me. Didn't know what Edge was. Didn't know the story of Edge. Didn't have a backstory. None of that. I was really floundering. Saying no to that stuff might not have been the best idea, but I did.
There was a period where people had been in the business for a while and looked at anybody new. Hey, you haven't paid your dues yet.
There's a really fine line there of standing up for yourself and what your vision is and doing what it is that they want. Now you've kind of got this stigma, like, okay, this guy's hard to work with. That could be career suicide.
So then I designed my stuff and I would draw it. I gotta have my hands in it in making this thing work, but that's just not really the way it always works.
He couldn't wrap his brain around it because I don't think he understood how he would portray this character. To Adam's credit, he's always stood up for what he believed in.
That is some of the things you have to deal with politically, both with the office and also in the dressing room.
Anytime that a new talent comes in that doesn't have the pedigree, if you will, to come in and go right into a spot, I think there's a lot of jealousy. He wasn't a seasoned talent per se. Guy's been in the business for a cup of coffee and comes in and he's being hyped in a big way.
Yeah, but it's too late. We're watching the story of Edge.
Is always looking over their shoulder to see who's going to take their place.
I won't mention names, certain other talents who had long hair, similar to Adam, they were taking him as a threat. There was a lot of political behind the scenes pushing, I think you should get a haircut. Do anything they can to sabotage his look and image, etc.
There was talk that I would be deaf with an inability to speak at one point, which is the kiss of death. Because as a wrestler, microphone is one of your tools. And I thought, man, that's being floated around for me. I got nothing if they take that away.
I'm like, what? Like, that was the dumbest idea I've ever freaking heard. And I knew there'd be a career killer before he started. I mean, he really would have been dead in the water if he had to try to get over without being able to talk.
And they didn't say these words. And they did not listen.
I didn't know. They just said he's a tortured soul. What does that mean? When in doubt, I just screamed, wow. And just scream and look up the ceiling and scream.
Well, that's what I've heard the same as you, Tara. This guy's supposed to be tormented. I mean, every time I've seen him, he seems to be in some sort of a rage. We're about to see the debut of Edge, and Edge on his way to the ring.
I just remember thinking, okay, how do I try and make an impression? How do I try and get noticed?
Seemingly on the edge of exploding at any time.
The match was going fine until it wasn't.
And Lewis may move on. Big service all over the top. And Jose Estrada's not moving very much here, King. I think Jose is out.
I decided to try this move called the Hilo, which is a front flip over the top rope to the floor. I knocked Jose out. In my debut match. I roll in the ring. Tim White is the referee. He goes, "He's out, kid." And I just felt the world drop out from underneath me. I never injured someone. I never hurt someone. So not only am I smashing that glass, but I'm doing it in my first match on television for the company I've always wanted to work for. And I know how the locker room works. I know people see that and the whispers start. Kid's not safe. Kid's not safe. Kid's not safe. Now you got people that don't want to work yet. That's all going through my mind while I'm on TV in my debut match.
And that's all of it. Edge will win his first match. I'm sure not the way he wanted, but he's a winner, needless to say. He's over the edge.
Yeah, look at it two ways. Nowhere to go but up. Or I just the bed. And this could be it.
Wow.
I gotta say,
Well, that must have been scary.
I know. That I never seen Edge did that before.
By the way, it's something that Edge mentioned, someone that Edge mentioned, if we've not yet mentioned it, about 2 weeks ago, WWE referee Tim White passed away. I'm not quite sure from what, but also referee Earl Hebner passed away.
I thought it was his brother
This is
Dave.
kind of my
Or
field
Dave
of
Hebner, I'm
dreams.
sorry.
Some people have football fields. Some people have ice rinks. Now, if you had told 16-year-old Adam that one day there'd be one of these at his beck and call, he would not have believed that. This is kind of a collection of stuff that was never
Still
going to
say
see the light of
classic
day,
unknown
but
death.
we got a wrestling ring. That's ridiculous enough. This is when I did Slim Jim commercials. They had Edge skateboarding like the Grand King is a half pipe, ascending at Everest, and attacking a school teacher, it seems, with a Slim Jim.
Once you eat a Slim Jim, anything is possible. Easy, Chief. One step at a time. Now eat it and beat it.
This poster over here, this was the first wrestling show I ever went to. For whatever reason, I still had it all these years later. So it felt like that needed to live here. We set up the chairs for this show, Jay and myself, and they promised that if we papered the town, if we posted the town with these posters and set up chairs, they'd give us 2 minutes in the ring. And that was we didn't get paid. That was our pay, was just let us in the ring. That was our calling. It even still boggles my mind that two kids from a small town like Orangeville both had the same dream, met each other, and both chased the dream to the furthest that you could chase it and did it. That still doesn't really register and make complete sense to me. I started on TV June of '98. I want to say it was like 6 months after that Jay started out. And I was told he was going to be brought in as my brother. And then they brought in Gangrel, Dave Heath, and they put us together as a group called The Brood.
Dude.
That was the first instance where I was like, ooh, there's an element of character here.
There's one word to describe this trio, and that's unique. And Gangrel in the middle, he appears to be the leader. Edge on his right.
We're supposed to be like, are we vampires? Are we goth? What is this thing? But it was something.
The power lies within us.
I remember the first time he spoke, which was in New Haven, and said the freaks only come out at night.
Because the freaks come out at night.
And the girls scream. I don't know. So I want a guy who will. He's going to get there.
I just pictured this group of like really cool vampires, whether they had fangs or not, just really cool guys. It didn't matter if you got your butt kicked every night as long as you look cool doing it.
And now he's gone back to that.
Let this thing go. Look out now. Oh.
everything he did was gonna win. They told me that that's the guy that they were gonna strap a rocket to. They knew he was their future superstar.
The combined weight of 455 pounds, Christian and Edge.
When we teamed up, it's like, well, we've been doing this since 6th grade. We know what we do. Now we get to show everybody what we can do. I think there was a realization that Adam and Jay need to be injected into this. It can't just be Edge and Christian, because what is that? We don't know. But if we can inject some of our humor and some of our idiocy into this, maybe, just maybe, they'll start giving us some microphone time.
Hey, listen to this. I'm gonna play our music.
You think you know me? You think you know me? That's gonna be all right. Get out.
We'd added the last element that we needed to go from just kind of being wrestlers to being entertainers, and understanding that there is a difference between the two.
What I really like are those 5-second poses. For the next 5 seconds, we will very generously pose for all of you with the benefit of flash photography. Christian and I have been reversing some new poses.
This one we just simply call, uh-oh.
You have to be an entertainer if you really want this thing to work and you really want to get to the upper echelons of what this thing is.
I'll turn this light on over here. There's always going to be a ladder present when I'm around, it seems. I try to avoid them at all costs.
Yeah, so you have to like practice with, do you practice with the ladder?
You don't practice the ladders. You just don't touch a ladder until it's match time. That's just for changing light bulbs. I don't go anywhere near that thing unless I absolutely have to.
When most people see ladders, I think the reaction is, oh, there's a ladder. The pit of my stomach starts to feel a little queasy when I see a ladder, because I know what happens if you fall off of them, because it was my job.
There's a saying that every single day of your career is one day less of your career. I think that in some of these matches, there's not just one day less. There's probably, you take about 20, 30, 40 days off of the career in every high-risk match that you have.
Madam Champ Hardy against Edge and Christian. This is the first tag team ladder match in history. A match only can end when one team has secured the $100,000 that's hanging high above the ring.
For Edge and Christian, it was that first ladder match in Cleveland. They changed the whole landscape on a ladder match in one match.
We caught lightning in the bottle that night, and that took us from being WWE wrestlers to WWE superstars overnight.
We all realized, being as young and dumb and hungry as we were, that if we got an opportunity, we got to swing for the fences. Our goal was to tear that arena down. So we started to look at how can we build things with these ladders that we can then fall on, or that we can use as a teeter-totter and slam up into somebody's face. Just trying to think of violent, creative ways to create things people haven't seen before. And we did.
How in God's name can a human being even move? I don't know. It's unbelievable.
And then to get to the back and get the congratulations from your peers, from people who were already at the top of the show, went out of their way to tell us, like, damn, guys, I don't know what you just did, but you did it. I made sure that I was the first guy they saw when they walked through the curtain. I looked at all four of them and I said, you guys just became stars.
Oh no.
That was their big stamp of approval. Like, these guys are for real. These guys are here, and you really have to appreciate that.
They all had chemistry, and they worked beautifully together. In any combination, they defined what those matches would be for the future of our business.
The reaction was unlike anything I'd ever experienced up until that point in time. I never experienced standing ovations or anything like that. And the next night on Raw, it happened again. It was like just goosebumps when I was out there, like just taking it all in, because I just couldn't believe or even comprehend or understand at that point what that meant.
Every single night, you go in front of a live audience. you want to improve. You want to do better. And the audience now has an expectation. As a performer, you can meet that expectation or you can exceed it. And you always want to exceed it.
We kept having to top ourselves. And that's a kind of fun place to be, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Well, there you see it, ladies and gentlemen, the tag team title belts hanging about 20 feet above
I remember this. I do too.
Here we go.
Because I was mostly watching WCW, but I always went back to WWE for WrestleMania. And I saw this and thought, oh shit, this is
I'm
cool.
standing on top of this table.
WCW's not doing anything
wobbling
like
like
this.
crazy. I've just pushed Matt
And that's how the
Hardy off of
TLC
He's
became
flipped
its
directly on his stomach through a table.
baby.
It looks so ugly, so I'm double checking to make sure, okay, he's moving.
TLC is
That's a
like
good
the
sign.
it's
Now
like
I
the
have to figure
grandbaby.
out how to stand up on this wobbly table that's about to pitch over.
I just remember the reaction when we were reaching for the titles.
The Dudleys have the
I said
tables,
that and I was like,
Edge and Christian has the chairs,
so he grabbed
and the
both of
Hardys have the
fights.
ladder.
That celebration would have looked a lot different.
If you look at it on paper, the chances of it happening are stupid. Two kids from a small town in southern Ontario with no inroads to the wrestling industry whatsoever are going to find themselves standing on a table on top of two ladders in the pond in Anaheim after doing a match that has never ever happened before in the history of wrestling that they've helped create.
Stupid.
If
That wasn't
everything ended
stupid,
after
that
this
was
in terms of
badass.
our team and all of those things, man, we did it. We did what we said we were going to do.
And winning the tag team titles is great, an amazing feeling.
We're the kings and the top of the heap in the tag team world.
I definitely think tag team titles is a stepping stone to get to that next step. You're almost there. You've grabbed that ring, now it's time to go for the next one.
So what's after Edge for next Sunday?
I don't know. They haven't. I don't think they've run a commercial for that yet.
New episode Thursday at 10, only on A&E.
Please welcome my man.
Speaking of awesomeness, the way we do and being so totally cool, I'm here at MTV on TRL to show them just exactly what Edge, movie star, is all about.
Hey, she totally rules.
See, she knows what she's talking about.
Being one half of Edge and Christian, the most photogenic tag team ever, and being on the real pulse of what the teens want to see, you know, you can understand why MTV would come to us.
Edge on Edge Day.
Edge was a big time player star. And if he'd have stayed with the tag team, you know, his career probably would not have lasted. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Hey, wait a minute. Here comes Edge's brother Christian with a steel chair of his own.
Oh, I
We've
remember
seen that
this.
for so long before it gets repetitive, and I think we both wanted to break up before people were like, okay, I've seen the act.
Once we split, I don't know if either one of us understood how hard it was going to be.
You want to know if you can make it on that stage as a single. When your time comes, when they're ready to push you as a big single, you have to do it. Because if you don't strive to be the best, you're really spinning your wheels.
Because we'd been with the company, we'd found success with the company, and assumed it would be an easy enough transition into this next stage of our career, and it was anything but.
The challenges that Edge found out was the place was popping, and you had so many great talents that knew the business, knew their game. And I think he could feel pressure from those that were above them that didn't want them to supersede the top guys.
As crazy as it sounds, given the danger involved in the ladders matches and later the tables, ladders, and chairs matches, there was still the knock on Edge that he wasn't tough.
Well, look at him. Does he look tough? You know, come on. Adam's in there. He's a young kid, all tan and pretty. Adam was pretty.
He looked like a surfer. He did not look like your stereotypical tough guy. He didn't look the part, but he was the part.
Because he's a handsome man with a great physique and he's a young man with the long hair, there are going to be those who don't think he has what we refer to as intestinal fortitude.
Those that would say that Adam didn't have the intestinal fortitude and never gotten in the ring with him. Edge, as the performer, was willing to do anything that he had to do.
I thought there was a good chance he could be held back and not climb to the heights that he would be able to.
I was treading water and just kind of keeping my nose above that water line. And then Paul Heyman called me and he said, "We want to team you and Hulk Hogan. What do you think?" And I went, "I think that is a stupendous idea. We will have a blast."
Oh, I remember that.
You know, I'm not a tag team guy, so I don't have that psychology. It was just totally out of my wheelhouse, you know? So I said, just whatever you want to do, brother.
And you told me that. Well, it's going to be a lot then.
It was just such a crazy night because I'd never been the tag team champion before. And all of a sudden here I'm in the ring with some guy that's watched Hulkamania ever since he was a kid. I was like his wrestling hero growing up, and to be in the ring with him and know how cool this was, it was almost like I had my son with me or something.
What's the next step?
Next step for Edge, probably not tag teaming. Probably go back off and you know, continue what I was doing before with the singles thing.
I started experiencing like just headache, like just pain. And my left arm started to atrophy, and I noticed it in my hands. Like the meat here was disappearing.
When you're young and hungry like that, you're going to do whatever you can to make it. He was sucking it up, just kind of, you know, gritting his teeth and fighting through it until he just couldn't do it anymore.
I was starting to see little divots in my forearm. I was like, oh, that's weird. And then my rear delt just left one day. It was just gone. It looked like someone had golfed off of it. And that's when I finally gave in and said, I think something's going on. I went to Steve Austin's spine doctor because he had had a spinal fusion at this point. He goes, "You gotta come down to San Antonio. I see Dr. Youngblood."
This is disc material and bone spurs right here, and it should be a nice symmetrical oval.
So I went down and ended up getting a double fusion from C5 to C7. And basically what they did is they took a chunk from my hip and they put it in my neck and replaced the ruptured discs.
Put this bone graft down in here.
And put a plate and 6 screws into the back. And I just remember having to sleep sitting up in that neck collar for about 3 months. You'd get a couple hours here and there. And if I woke up, I'd just turn on the TV and just kind of mindlessly watch something and try not to fall down the well of depression that every injury has and every athlete has encountered. I had to calibrate my brain to the aspect of psychological toll that takes. When you're used to going 120 with no hint of putting your foot on the brakes to you're in reverse and you're going in reverse fast. That takes some some mental gymnastics. I had always hoped one day it'll be my choice to walk away. And this wasn't my choice. I think that's the hardest part. 4 days after I had the surgery, I thought it'd be a good idea to go in and just get right and go in the gym. And I got in there and I sat down and I tried to lift the weight, and it was 7 pounds. And my arms were just shaking like that. And I put the weight down. I feel like crying is what I felt like doing. I got up and I walked out of the gym.
You have this thought, and you can't help it. Am I going to get another opportunity when I get healthy to come back and do this? Am I going to be healthy enough to come back and do it at the level? So yeah, your mind plays horrible, horrible tricks on you.
I talked to Michael Hayes and he said, worst case scenario, if you can't come back, you've lived your dream. And I thought, well, I've lived it, but I haven't fulfilled my final dream. That's the win at the WWE, the World Heavyweight Championship.
The story of Edge will continue. And this Monday night, not only that Edge is returning, we got WWE's Hall of Famer from Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, that's right.
The return of Trish Stratus. But I don't know who she's going to be facing tomorrow night on Raw.
Or if she is even going to be competing, it could just be an appearance. Meaning she's on for 5 minutes and that's it.
But let's see.
I'm going to pause it here because, well, I got to take a leak.
All right.
Who's here?
It's still Miss Janelle.
And?
I don't know who else is here yet with us. Let me go check.
Still here?
Let me check. No, he is not, Michael. Probably after the Legend story, Mike, I might be heading tomorrow afterwards, all right?
Well, I might be heading to bed before that. So, I don't know.
Damn, it's cold in your home.
Yeah, but I think it's cold in the whole house. To me, it constantly seems cold.
I'm bringing my coat in. I'm freaking cold. I'll be right back.
Wait.
Huh? Yeah?
Oh, would you mind grabbing something for me out of there? Nah, I don't want Mountain Dew, but I need something for a snack. Just anything, I don't care.
Come on to the living room when I get my coat on.
Huh?
I'll be in the living room when I'm getting my before I come up.
damn it. Ow. And out.
Visit your local Cadillac dealer today.
This has been my trip of just. Oh my God! Who's that? Is that Triple H? Wait a minute. Oh,
she didn't say test. I had gone down to see him at his place in Florida when he was recovering. It was funny because he looked relieved to sort of be on a break. I think the first couple of years were a whirlwind. Maybe a blessing in disguise to sort of take a deep breath and be back at home.
You're interrupting my morning coffee. Thank you very much. This is my humble abode. Where should we head to? Books. I read all the time. There's pretty much one thing I do my own, which I wrote, by the way. Apple Mango Tango. Ah, see that right there? That right there is an ass crack that is implanted in my couch from when I had my neck surgery. I had to sleep there, sitting up, just like this. So my ass crack is permanently embedded in this spot.
I think it's the motivation. It's setback, yes, but I know where I can go and I know what the company feels about me. So I'm going to work harder to prove that they were right in spite of having this happen.
I thought, man, I've been off. I've been back in Toronto, I think it was 2 years at that point. I'm coming back. I'm the Intercontinental Champion. I've had spinal fusion surgery. This has got to be a hero's welcome, right? I came out and they booed me.
You could see it on Edge's face. Like, why don't you love me? I'm Edge. You're my hometown audience. Don't you love me?
What our vision is, Edge is this heroic character and fighting through the odds and yada, yada, yada. They're not buying it because it's the same thing I was doing before I left. They were buying it then, but for whatever reason, this break has caused them to not buy it anymore.
Yes. Instead of asking, why do you hate me? Make them hate you more. And turn it around to take all of the things that you do, being a nice guy, and just put a twist on it. And just put a little bit of an attitude on it. And that will help the audience confirm their belief. You're an ass. I don't like you.
Now they want something different. They're telling us. So let's give them something different.
When you're kind of pegged to be a future superstar, you're going to maybe even get some more opportunities that others wouldn't get. And I felt like maybe he thought his chances were running out.
The following contest is the Money in the Bank ladder match. The first individual to climb the ladder and retrieve the briefcase will win a contract for a World Heavyweight Championship match. Who's going to win this thing? Somebody get in there!
It can be extremely difficult for a guy to go from being a babyface to a heel. And normally it is a recipe for disaster. But man, as a heel, I think he is just so much better.
That then became this character who was just maniacally obsessed with being the world champion. Because that was the last thing that needed to be done on my checklist of things. And that's Adam sitting back and going, right, what else? Yeah, that, did that, cool, did that. Gotta do that though. I mean, this can't end until that happens. With that neck injury, it made me realize, like, gonna have to make it happen sooner than later.
Nobody goes anywhere. This night is not over. First of all, I'd like to congratulate John Cena in retaining the WWE Championship. There's one more match happening here tonight. This individual is cashing in his money in the bank privilege that he earned at WrestleMania. The WWE Championship match will take place right here, right now. John Cena defends against Edge.
I'd like to think because Adam is so focused on all things WWE that truly is the pinnacle achievement. He's definitely proving himself. With new performers, that's a tough mountain to climb. Everybody wants to be the champion.
I think I did get that pay-per-view. It was still when they were on pay-per-view. Before the network. It was on both, and I think I did get that.
This was indeed a historical night. Edge is the new WWE champion.
They told me the plan. You're gonna have this thing for 3 weeks, and you're gonna drop it back to John, and then John's going to wrestle Triple H at WrestleMania. That one put a big chip on my shoulder.
I found out after the fact that there was a lot of very vocal. I wasn't ready for it. Don't know if I'll ever be ready for it. It was locker room where that was the feeling. All of that was ammunition for me.
There's always somebody in the dressing room that's like, him? I don't get it, but they don't appreciate what he was doing.
I think from my perspective, he got to win the championship. And it's all about what is my perception going forward and how can I take what's happened and continue a compelling narrative.
The ratings go up, the hits on the website go up. Okay, merchandise is selling. This is a good thing. We're going to go with this. No, we're not. That pissed me off. So I got Mitch. Right. Now we can show everybody.
His first ever WWE Hardcore champion, Nick Foley versus the R-rated superstar in an extreme rated.
Oh, this was cool. This was like the table was on fire.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And Mick went through it.
I think the Dudleys did it first before they did.
Adam thought Edge belonged. He was a guy, and still is to this day, a guy who likes to prove people wrong.
There's only so much a human body can take.
One of the things I never really thought about was how barbed wire would feel when it's wrapped around a baseball bat and it's hitting you in the stomach. Those thoughts crossed my mind as they were about to happen, like a nanosecond before. Ow. Oh, that sucks. One of the that really, wow, okay. That's barbed wire. That doesn't do good things. Your skin's not meant for that. The thumbtacks, I mean, the look on my face pretty much sums it up. It's kind of like being on the high diving board and just back flopping into a pool. But like, I'm talking one of the high diving boards from the Olympics. That kind of like smack where it might knock you out. Like, take your breath away in the midst of this violent theater of the absurd. You're getting a real emotion in the eyes there.
Surgery being performed by the Dr. Mick Foley. Oh my God, here we go.
We had an idea in our head. I was borrowing from a couple of scenes I had witnessed, but I just felt like doing it on the grandest stage of them all makes it our moment.
Oh my God, here we go. Oh my God, what's gonna happen?
And I'm crawling over. I roll him over. I said, I love you, Mick.
Stand for the tail cover.
The last thing that you think someone would say in that instance. And he said the same thing.
It'll take you.
You smell a forearm hair burning over the skin as well.
Let me take a look at that, Michael. Sealed, no stitches.
As stupid as it sounds, you've survived something like that together, and you create this story together, and that feels really good. You feel horrible, but you feel elated. And after that, I started to see respect in the ring.
If Philly Garcia didn't
WWE Smack Talk. New episode tonight at 11. Only on A&E.
Now, can you dig that?
He is the Rated R Superstar and the WWE Champion, Edge!
Man, is he a really great heel. He's just got that slime, and he enjoys it.
It's funny because the people that are really genuinely true nice guys oftentimes are better at being a heel and being that nasty, despicable character.
I thought there could be money to be made if you're that guy. A lot of those characters are big, large men. Undertaker, John Cena, Batista, Kane, Big Show. A lot of their character involves throwing that bad guy around. How did that bad guy?
Look at the strength, the power! Oh! I want you all to know that I'll be a champion that you can be proud of. A champion that will take on any and all comers. But taste the blood! Oh my God! Bodies and ladders are broken!
I didn't fully grasp how bad I felt. I just thought it was, well, yeah, I got a double fusion in my neck, of course. That's how I feel.
I was one of the few people that knew how much pain he was in, what he was dealing with. He was trying to keep it as quiet as he could until after WrestleMania. But obviously, it wasn't a good situation.
Finally, in the lead up to WrestleMania 27, I got hit in the back with a chair. Live.
Well, that's gonna teach Edge.
And I think this was the first time that cameras caught the extent of what my body did when stuff like this would happen. Alberto was grabbing me by the shirt and just flailing me around, and I couldn't do anything. Like I was just like a limp noodle. The trainers came running out once we were dark, once the show went off the air. They're like, what's going on? No, I'm good. Good. You know, what? What exactly is going on? I just lost my arms for a bit, that's all.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WrestleMania!
I do a bunch of strength tests the day of WrestleMania, passing everything. We make the decision, let's get through WrestleMania.
Spear! Del Rio's down, and Edge retains his championship!
After WrestleMania, they wanted me to go get the MRIs. I got the MRIs. I drove up to Charlotte, did a spear on this guy. Could have lost my arms again.
He injured the disc above the level of his previous fusion. It was literally impinging on the spinal cord and also the nerves to his arms at the time. There's no way he could have continued to wrestle with the injury that he had. The risks would have simply been unjustifiable.
So I then get a call like 2 days later from Vince. Those calls are pretty rare. He said, you know, this is the toughest call I've ever had to make, but you got to retire.
I think I might have been the first person that he called. He was choked up, and I think even though he knew he was closer to the end than he was to the start, not being able to close the book on his own terms was hard to swallow.
It was a big shock because he was rolling. He had no other choice than to walk away if he wanted to be healthy. And it was tough. It was tough to watch.
I knew I was getting closer to the end. I didn't know that was my last match. Like that can't be my last match. I didn't know. I would have treated it differently. I would have come into it differently. I would have approached it differently. I don't know how, but I would have.
Rumors have been swirling all day long about what Edge is about to tell us. I hope it's not true.
I went to Raw and I basically just went out and talked as Adam. Like there was no edge.
Last little while, I've been in a lot of pain.
It was Adam ending what he'd always wanted to do, and that's it.
The WWE wanted me to go get more tests, and thankfully I did, because the MRIs showed that I have to retire. I mean, trust me, it's not my choice. The doctors have told me that I got no choice. I'm gonna miss all of this, all of it. No matter what, I came out here and I tried to give you guys as much as I had every single night. And in turn, you guys gave it right back to me. Thank you, guys. It's just like shocking to me. I felt bad for him, and I know he felt like a good part of his life was being ripped off.
I cried. I cried because I felt for Adam Copeland, the human being. It's sad when a talent has to lose what they love and what they have a passion for and what they've dreamt of doing their whole life, and it's taken away from you in an instant.
There's going to be some uneasiness in his soul that is never going to go away. That's what we live with if we don't have closure on our careers.
I have to figure out how to wrap my mind around this, because this is all I know. This is what I've done with my entire adult life. This is all I've wanted to do since I was a kid. If I don't figure this out, emotionally, this could be bad. This could cause a wormhole of I don't know what, but I need to put on my big boy pants and just go, right, what is life now?
Court Cam is back in session.
Being a dad now?
Plump lines and restore volume. Revitalative hyaluronic acid serum from L'Oreal Paris.
Here we go. Being a dad now, having not necessarily a template to draw ideas from on how to do this dad thing, I really just came to my own conclusions is that all you got to do is love your kids and support them.
Is there any ice cream in there, or is it just candy?
I've got ice cream in there.
It sounds delicious with gummy frogs and marshmallows and chocolate.
It tastes delicious.
Beth and I were on the roster at the same time, but very just, hey, Beth, hey, and like never called me Adam. It was always Edger. Hey, Edger.
I could totally have him wrapped around my little pinky finger too.
And I retired, and then we started talking and talking and talking and talking, and it just kind of blossomed from there, and we started dating seriously, and then started talking about the idea, okay, well, we're gonna have kids, right?
That's what.
What? Take a bite. Being a dad is easily, hands down, no competition whatsoever, the best thing I've ever done with my life.
I tell him this a lot, but I said, Adam, you've become the dad that you always deserved growing up, that will get on the floor with the kids and be silly and let them paint his toenails. He's just all in on being a dad.
It was a life away from wrestling. It really was. We didn't watch. We moved away from it and into what everyday life was now. But if wrestling's not on the table, I still need to do something creative, whatever that is.
You had no business here. This is Haven. Making things disappear is my business.
I'm going to go act on a TV show. I don't really know how to do that, but I mean, I guess I'll figure it out. I had 4 scenes in the first episode that I was in, and halfway through the second scene, they pulled me aside and said, "Can you do more episodes?" I mean, I got nothing else to do now. Sounds good. So that first episode, it turned into 4 that season. It turned into 41 all told. And I realized in that time how much I loved acting. After all, I am a Viking. And none of this is possible without Beth. She has been my support. She has been my everything. The mother of my children, my partner, my best friend. She almost took on, and I think on purpose, what my mom would have done. I think that was probably part of a pact that they made. And I don't know if they officially did, but I know they did.
We really wanted his mom, Judy, to be here with us in Asheville. And we were working on her immigration papers, and right around that time, she was diagnosed with cancer.
It was a really hectic time just because I had already signed on to do Vikings. I found myself doing this triangle of travel for about 2.5 years, where it'd be Asheville, dad, husband, try and be all of those things. Got to get up to Toronto, check on my mom, see how she is. I got to go back to Dublin. Got some scenes coming up. Then back to Asheville, then Toronto, Dublin, then maybe back to Toronto. And it was pretty exhausting. And the emotional aspect of watching my mom go through, chemo and just battle through this thing.
Yeah, I was with her the last 5 months. It was gut-wrenching. I just said to Adam, I texted him, I said, "You better get back home soon. So I don't think this is good."
I think she finally felt like she could rest because I had Beth, and she knew I had a partner that truly has my back.
Losing his mom, that tore that constant in his life. It really hit him hard. And I don't know how much he dealt with that grief for a long time.
The weird thing about depression, I think, is sometimes you don't necessarily know you are because it becomes just mundane, and then you just, I don't know. It's a weird funk, you're just, kind of stuck in the mud, right? I don't know if I really fully grasped that I was until I pulled myself out of it. And that I can attribute to the girls.
Howdy, girls.
And realizing, whoa, hold on a second, I gotta snap out of it.
Yeah.
This is a camera here.
They became kind of the starting point for everything.
I don't think it's the wrestling that makes him happy. I think it's the challenge. Whatever the toughest route is, whatever the road least traveled is, that's what makes him feel alive. I remember once or twice it was ever said, I wonder if I could have one more match. And I would shut that down real quick. When that man comes up with an idea, there ain't no stopping him. If he wants something, he manifests it.
When it came to my digestive issues, I got a lot of advice.
High fiber diet.
Low
Hold on.
small. The mask turned me into a superhero. And that's how Rey Mysterio was born.
The same guys that were making fun of him, they couldn't believe what they were seeing.
The mask is everything, connects him to his heritage.
It's a huge inspiration for kids in Mexico.
That's all I ever wanted to do. Just give me the opportunity to step in the ring to show my talent.
Biography, WWE Legend continues with Rey Mysterio next Sunday at 8 on A&E.
Both Edge and John Cena reason not to love him.
Have you been watching this or have you been sleeping?
How's it going, Sheamus and Katie Kelton Warrior here with the Rated R Super.
Huh?
WWE Rivals, new episode next only on A&E.
How's it going? I'm Sheamus and Katie Kelton Warrior here with the Rated R Superstar Edge. We are going in the mountains, fella, and we are not coming back.
They came flying up, and my brother-in-law Eric was behind me with the GoPro, and he said, "Whoa, dude, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, actually."
As long as you're all right, that's the important thing.
Yeah, that was my first, good one. People see that and go, "Why can't he wrestle?"
I feel great. I feel alive. I feel like that's all that was running through my head.
Oh, go.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
I feel like I was a big roadblock for the return. I retired from wrestling in 2012. It was 6 or 7 days later, Adam had neck surgery. We don't talk about it a lot anymore, but he was having very bad symptoms at the time of his retirement. He was dropping things, he had atrophy, he had nerve damage. And so what I was told when he had that neck surgery was like, if he gets rear-ended, in a car accident or something, like he could die.
She'll tell me, we would be up for 2 hours running errands, and then you'd have to go get flat because your head would just be pounding. And I've washed that out of the memory banks a little bit.
I said, listen, for this to happen, there's 2 things. I gotta hear it from the best in the world that it's okay, because for a long time I've been told this will end badly. And number 2 is I gotta see it with my own eyes. I gotta see this, and I gotta make sure you're okay.
Is that good? Is that enough?
How many miles can you do that?
Once he took that first bump and I looked down at him and he looked up at me and we were just like, is everything okay? And I was just holding my breath and he's like, I think I'm okay.
So, went up, met with the doctors.
We had a long, detailed discussion, and we thought that, yes, there was minimal risk. There's risk anytime you do these kinds of things. But we ended up feeling that it was safe.
I still can't fully explain it. Just worked really hard, to strengthen everything. Yeah, there's still parameters, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to try and land on my head, but that's pretty much everybody in the world. Final clearance, and then it really became real.
Welcome to the 33rd Royal Rumble.
If someone took away the thing that at that point in your life you loved most, and after that, you landed on your feet, you started a beautiful family, you did all of these things, but someone dangles that carrot of doing it again and ending it the way you want to, how many people are going to say no?
When I found out he was going to come back, I thought it was the most amazing, coolest thing that I've seen happen in this business, maybe of all time. I was excited for him because he was going to have an opportunity to go out the way that he wanted to go out and finish what he started, really.
Let's just cut to the chase, shall we?
I think that's when it really became real for Beth, for the company, for everyone to really start, this thing is not only can it happen, it's now going to happen.
And in 10 seconds, entry number 21. Who's it going to be?
People are always looking for those surprises. I dare say Edge was a huge surprise and unbelievable live response.
It's been 9 long years. With a spear. Now this is a Royal Rumble moment. Oh, a spear fest at the Rumble.
Yeah, it's still surreal, you know, and it really kind of felt like a dream sequence out there. Felt really good to hear them react the way I thought they would. That's you can't. You can't beat that. I know there's not many of these left for me, so I have to truly soak it all in.
The Rated R Superstar! Edge! Oh, I'm sorry! Edge wins! Edge wins! Edge going to WrestleMania!
If you wrote this as a script for Hollywood, they'd say it's impossible. It can never happen. It's not realistic. Yet here we are.
Adam's comeback has been special. First of all, it was never supposed to happen. So anytime you hear something like that, that's excellent. Second of all, it's the best he's ever looked.
I've been waiting for the moment for someone to step up to face me at WrestleMania. The ultimate opportunity strikes again. The Rated R Superstar countering the phenomenal one. Oh, spear in midair!
What makes him a legend is the fact that it's in his blood. I mean, when he was a kid, he wanted to be a wrestler. He lived his whole life wanting to be a wrestler. And he left a mark that you can't erase on this business.
Rated R Superstar!
Edge fears no man.
There's few wrestlers that have had the journey that Adam Copeland has had.
You think you know me?
To have it gone for 9 years. Yeah, 9 years is long enough that you think this thing has sailed. That ship is gone. And it's not even on the horizon.
Edge is out of it!
So I had to come to terms with that.
Bodies and ladders are broken!
And now suddenly, wait, hold on a second. This is doable. And I got it back now. Even if it's for this limited time frame, I'm going to make sure that I soak in every single part of it. So in a strange way, I'm almost thankful for the 9 years.
I love you.
Because in that 9 years, Beth and I become a couple. We have kids.
The extra special thing, he's a great husband, a great dad. He's got a lot more things to balance. So I respect the hell out of him for what he's done.
It's made me appreciate all of this so much more and not look past it and really understand that you have to live in every single moment as it's happening.
He's not a wrestler that stands out for a particular time or the end of his career where he was great. He's a guy that was great throughout his whole career.
I would consider Edge one of the all-time greats.
He's a
Ladies and
legend.
gentlemen,
He's the guy.
that
He's quietly
is a
carved out
story
one of the greatest careers in
how
history.
Edge became a wrestler
Edge
and he became a Hall of Famer.
I'm just proud of the man he's become.
It's not over yet.
I'll be able to know when the end is.
I'm going
And be able to walk away from it.
What? I'm going to bed. All
And
right,
know that I'm
well,
walking away from it.
good night. Hopefully tomorrow
That's going to be huge.
we won't have to deal with this.
This time it's going to be my choice. And
But for those of you that want to watch WWE
Storyline.
Rivals,
I was
starts
involved with
now.
Edge
Like and subscribe. I'm out. And thank you for the 245 subscribers.